Welcome to Arch Lecture, Secret but Not Hidden, Fraternal Societies in Fort Wayne. This is part of our 2023 lecture series. The logic behind this one is we know them by the homes they built. It is being presented by me, Connie Haas-Zuber, Executive Director of Arch Inc., originally presented on January 21, 2023 in the Spectator Lounge at Cinema Center. This is part of Arch's Fun and Free Lecture Series 2023. This series is Arch's gift of education to the community. It is made possible by volunteers and the member and donors who support our operations and staff. We are deeply grateful to them. It is also supported by funding this year from Arch United of Greater Fort Wayne, the Community Foundation of Greater Fort Wayne, and Indiana Humanities. You are invited to invest in history for our future by becoming a member and donor. You are invited to become an Arch member and donor to support this program and all that Arch and its historic preservation work contributes to community well-being in Fort Wayne and Northeast Indiana. We are also eager to hear your reviews of this program and your ideas for what Arch could be doing to make an even bigger impact. So let's talk in person, by phone, or email. After you've viewed this lecture, please go back to the Arch website, find the email to use to contact us, and our phone number is also there, 426-5117. Give us a call, send us an email. We want your feedback. We want your ideas. Thank you very much for being a part of what Arch is doing. Let's get going on our topic today. Secret and fraternal is the theme I want to work with. Academics who study this very human phenomenon say that secret societies have existed as long as people have been people. So forever, as far as we're concerned. The kinds of secret societies we're exploring today, though, are rooted in traditions that commit them to ideals of self-improvement, help for those in need, always for fellow members, and often for others too, and service to community. And they attract members who are proud to be members, even if they are perfectly comfortable with the group's practice of not sharing the secret sauce that makes memberships so valuable with just everyone. That's why they're not hidden. And that's why Fort Wayne has been blessed with a heritage of interesting and important buildings that our secret fraternal societies have called and still do call home. This picture describes the local situation well. It's a view of bustling West Berry Street from probably 1945. Proudly amidst the hustle and bustle on the left, you'll see the large badge of the Benevolent Protective Order of Elks, Fort Wayne Lodge number 155, flag flying from its prominent balcony where people are watching the goings-on below. Definitely not hidden, but nevertheless also secret. Fraternal societies came to the colonies and the new nation of the United States of America with the founding fathers and their cultural roots in the Masonic societies of England and France. The Masons have roots in late medieval guilds of real Masons, and they may well have links to the much dramatized but nevertheless real Knights Templar of Crusades fame. So they have real claim to being oldest in many ways, other than the fact that we may not know what other secret societies were in existence at any one time. But the Masons are impressive for how far back they go in our history and how they have maintained a presence in our communities and maintained one today. Fort Wayne's original Masons are a roster of city founders. Names include Hannah, Ewing, Tipton, Rudisill Edsel, and other early leaders. Captain James Hackley and Benjamin Barry Kercheval, for whom the street is named, were master Masons into whose care the new lodge was entrusted by the Grand Lodge in Madison, with General John Tipton and Alexander Ewing also important, as this first lodge was organized in Fort Wayne in 1823. Calling the Masons just a presence, though, is a serious misrepresentation of their impact, as well as the impact of all the other secret fraternal societies who joined them with different but similar missions of individual betterment, benevolence, and community service. They were huge. They were front page news. They were reason for Fort Wayne to brag. Note that both the Masons and the Oddfellows made this front page. The Masons were dedicating their new Scottish Rite Cathedral, the now demolished one that was at Clinton and Washington, and the Oddfellows were involved in a big state gathering. And that's Governor Thomas Marshall at the bottom of the page, in town to speak at the Scottish Rite dedication. This is in 1908. This page is a treasure of reporting. Plus, it has a great headline. Fort Wayne's secret orders are largest and richest in world. No understatement there, and bragging rights being claimed. The treasure trove is the accounting down the lower right-hand side of 75 lodges, men's and women's, which are mostly auxiliaries, totaling 18,344 members, with an increase of 3,023 in the past year. 3 lodges had more than 1,000 members, and 6 had more than 500. Leading categories are Masons, International Order of Oddfellows, Knights of Pythias, Knights of the Maccabees, and Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks. We also had Tribe of Ben-Hur, Benevolent Order of Buffaloes, the Fraternal Order of Eagles, 2 different orders of foresters, Knights and Ladies of Honor, Ancient Order of Hibernians, Hibernian Rifles, Independent Order of Redmen, Royal Arcanum, Royal Neighbors of America, Knights and Ladies of Security, United Commercial Travelers, Modern Woodmen, American and Ancient Orders of United Workmen, Brotherhood of American Yeomen, in addition to Jewish and Catholic societies and lodges for Black men and women. This page reports that the value of Fort Wayne's 5 main lodge buildings, owned by Elks, Masons, Oddfellows, and Knights of Pythias, is $471,000, to which the $225,000 Scottish Rite Cathedral is being added. The Elks were not forgotten by the editors of the August 1, 1909 newspaper. Their lovely home on Westbury was shown off with the caption on this page, "Beautiful and commodious building, opened last December, and the scene of frequent social sessions since." A smaller photo of the Knights of Pythias home at 122 West Washington Boulevard was on the previous page. Neither World War I, the Great Depression, nor World War II ended the story of fraternal orders in Fort Wayne. The 1950 City Directory lists 71 familiar lodge names, including 4 specified as Masonic colored. 3 new ones are interesting. Protected Home Circle and Women's Benefit Association seem to emphasize the benevolent roots of the movement, and the Wayne Review number 37 could be just about anything. The smaller groups tended to have addresses on upper floors of large buildings or obviously in rented spaces. The 1960 directory lists 52 benevolent and fraternal organizations. 1971 has a list of 45. 1980 lists 39, and 1990 lists 32. We are all aware that membership organizations in general, not only fraternal and benevolent ones, have lost the dominance and ability to thrive they enjoyed 50 years ago due to accumulated social changes. Let's look at the homes some of these organizations built in Fort Wayne and trace what happened to them. We will start with images of 5 of the 6 lodge homes the Journal-Gazette listed in its August 1, 1909 celebration of our largest and richest secret orders in the world. The first Scottish Rite Cathedral, the building Governor Marshall came to town to help dedicate in 1909. This photo can't be precisely dated, but we note the building is surrounded by houses, so it predates the Masonic Temple, which went up to its east 100 years ago. This Scottish Rite building is gone, but a new one was built. The Elks Lodge on Westbury Street at Maiden Lane was home for 1,100 members. The Journal-Gazette said it was valued at $150,000 in 1909. This postcard image is dated circa 1908. This building is gone, but you may remember it, as I do, as the place where I went to get license plates when I first came to Fort Wayne. The first Masonic temple was on the site that currently hosts Citizen Square, though the building faced Wayne and Clinton streets instead of Berry. The Journal-Gazette put its value in 1909 at $125,000. It was destroyed by fire and was replaced by the current Masonic Temple on East Washington Boulevard, 1923. Fort Wayne had 5,480 Masons in 1909, most of them based at the temple, 1,025 of whom were affiliated with the Scottish Rite. The Oddfellows building on South Calhoun Street at Wayne Street, built in 1880, is another great example of secret but not hidden. Not only is it in the heart of things, but its second floor is also the home of the Fort Wayne Commercial Club, as you can see in the window there in the corner. The newspaper valued it in 1909 at $125,000 and reported 1,238 members. This building is also gone. The Pythian home, as the newspaper called it, was valued at a modest $21,000 in 1909, and that's it down at the bottom of the newsprint page. But its 781 members, Fort Wayne and Phoenix Lodges, the Fort Wayne Uniform Rank, and Rathbone Temple No. 31 Pythian Sisters undoubtedly treasured it. I have unresolved conflicting dates on images from the 1909 Largest Riches newspaper coverage. That's it down at the bottom of the page there. And a postcard image dated circa 1904 that shows the building that is still on the site, but is not the smaller, more modest building in the newspaper photo. The most likely explanation is that the postcard is a drawing that was created to promote the building that was later built on the site. The Loyal Order of Moose was also a factor in the Fort Wayne Lodge scene early in the 20th century, though they were not listed in the 1909 newspaper roster of membership alongside the Elks, Eagles, and Buffaloes. The Moose home was at 302 West Wayne Street by about 1912. This building is gone, and today the nearest Moose lodges are in New Haven and Auburn. As the city grew, signs of the new era to come emerged and just kept coming. New fraternal order buildings went up, but the forces of suburbanization that changed our downtown also changed things for the lodges. The Elks had a country clubhouse as early as the 1920s in what may have been a former Rod and Gun Club building on land that became part of Shove Park. Their interest in the country club life intensified later when they opened their new clubhouse and golf course at Hilligast and California Roads. The Masons just kept building. After the Wayne and Clinton Masonic Temple burned, they built the current stately neoclassical temple, seen here on the left, on East Washington Boulevard, which opened in 1926, according to its National Register of Historic Places nomination. It was designed by leading local architect Charles R. Weatherhog, and due to its steel frame construction, it qualifies as a skyscraper. The Scottish Rite Cathedral next door was demolished in the 1980s. But by then, a new Scottish Rite Cathedral had been occupied on West Berry Street, even though it had been built as a Mizpah shrine home in 1925. The Scottish Rite bought it in 1953, and the Shriners moved next door to the east into the historic Olds Mansion, not visible in this photo. Designed by leading local architect Guy Mahurin, who was a member of the Shrine, the building was intended to serve the Shriners and provide an auditorium space and large ballroom for the community as well. Its style evokes the Orient, yet maintains a logic that fits it into the modern American city. It's now owned, as is most of the block, by the University of St. Francis. The Oddfellows had two local lodges with different addresses for many years, but lodge number 14 was in this high-style modern building at 210 East Jefferson Boulevard by the 1960s and likely earlier, since property records show they owned the property in 1948. Both lodge numbers have been associated with this address, but the current Oddfellows address in Fort Wayne is in Sleepy Hollow Office Park on West Jefferson Boulevard at Engle Road. A lot has changed in Fort Wayne. Adam Mills has a much smaller fraternal order building footprint today than it used to have. But what we have left is valuable, architecturally and as heritage. So today, historic preservation is really the challenge for the buildings we have left. Here are three interesting challenges Arch wants you to know about. The Masonic Temple is gorgeous and impressive and a huge challenge to own and care for. But the Masons and their friends are committed to the building, making it open, as the lodges always have with their buildings, for rental as a community event center. But it's 100 years old now and in need of a lot of maintenance and repairs, so they are raising funds. We all are invited to contribute whatever we can. Checks and money orders are welcome. They have no online or credit card options available that I know of. To the 216 East Washington Boulevard Foundation, Inc., 12208 Crosswinds Way, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46818. Well deserving of our support. The second historic preservation opportunity I'd like to talk about is the Olds Mansion and the surrounding properties that are owned by the University of St. Francis. This is a picture that shows the Olds Mansion to the east of the Scottish Rite property. You may have seen the November 30 Journal Gazette article, which reported the University of St. Francis is pondering selling its downtown property, which includes what has become the Robert Goldstein Performing Arts Center and Music Technology Center, the Keith Bussey Business School, and two unused connected buildings that used to be the Mizpah Shrine buildings, plus more than a city block of parking lots, which are probably quite a prize for a commercial developer. Art is in conversation with the University of St. Francis and Indiana Landmarks in an effort to identify a win-win-win scenario for these properties, the university, and downtown Fort Wayne. We are especially concerned for the Olds Mansion, which has always been an odd man out, so to speak, in the university's use of the property. This photo shows the mansion as the Shrine Temple, with notes that it was designed by Guy Mahurin. Built in 1870, it was originally the home of the Olds family of Olds Wagon Works fame. It is our grandest remaining example of the Italianate style and is one of the few known works according to the National Register nomination of Fort Wayne architect George Trenum. So that needs to be worked out. So item number 3 is back to East Jefferson Boulevard and the building Northeast Indiana Public Radio took a good run at, but couldn't make work. It's challenging for reasons including its landlocked lack of parking and the isolation its location poses on us. NIPR invested in exterior improvements that beautify and protect the building, though, which did need protection from the elements, but now it is waiting for a new use and a new life. Arch does not think it is dangerously threatened, but it's another good example of a challenging historic preservation reuse situation. We're watching and interested in developments. It's an A.M. Strauss design and a rare example of streamlined modern style in Fort Wayne. Once again, thank you for attending Arch's Fun and Free Lecture Series remotely. This 2023 edition of it is being made available to you as Arch's gift of education to the community. This series is made possible by volunteers and the members and donors who support our operations and staff, to whom we are deeply grateful. It is also supported by funding from Arch United of Greater Fort Wayne, the Community Foundation of Greater Fort Wayne, and Indiana Humanities. You are invited to become an Arch member and donor to support this program and all that Arch and its historic preservation work contributes to community well-being in Fort Wayne and Northeast Indiana. Our slogan is Invest in History for Our Future. We are also eager to hear your reviews of this program and your ideas for what Arch could be doing to make an even bigger impact. When you go back to the Arch website, you'll find the email address and the phone number at the bottom of every page to use to talk to us. Let's talk. We're interested in your reviews and your ideas. This has been an Arch lecture, Secret but Not Hidden, the Fraternal Societies in Fort Wayne. It has been presented by Connie Haas-Zuber, Executive Director, Arch Inc. Thank you very much.